Greetings. Welcome to the last of 2 Thessalonians. Um, uh, all it is may the Lord of peace himself give you peace at all times and in every way. And may the Lord be with you all. And that's what I just want to focus on is how is it that God gives us peace? So questions I'd like us to muse over this evening. Elsewhere, Paul says that Christ is our peace, that he makes two groups one and destroys hostility. So, my question is well, how does this happen and how can we avail ourselves of it? One seems to me this is in the nature of God. These attributes of the Spirit, which is who God is, and peace is one of them. So, actually, if we are with God, we will know peace, just as we will know joy and love and patience, the rest of it. Secondly, it's a story which I think shows how Jesus brings peace to a somewhat disturbing world. Here we've got a guy who actually these people are looking at him and think he's a bit odd. And one of the very nasty things about human nature is that we tend to have a tendency to pick on somebody who looks odd just to cover up our own inadequacies. And everybody in this village picked on this guy because he was odd, he was odd, he was odd. And the more they told him he was odd, and the more nobody had anything to do with him because he was the oddball, meant that, of course, he didn't know how to do socially normal things. And therefore, the older he became because he didn't learn all the things that everybody else was learning. And sometimes that I'm sure he lashed out, and they said, "Ah, oh, he's lashing out. Ah, oh, we need to restrain him." And of course, he didn't have any money, so therefore he couldn't buy clothes, and therefore he just became odder and odder and odder. And Jesus pops up, and this guy comes up to Jesus and says, everything's saying I'm odd, I'm odd, I'm odd, I'm odd, and they say that I'm demon possessed. Um, what do you say? And Jesus says, sorry, you're great. We just need to get everybody to agree that there's nothing wrong with you. That you're not demon possessed. But everybody else thinks that I am, and I understand that this is only one spin on this story. It's one that I find deeply satisfactory. He says, well, says Jesus, is that of course everybody will want to know what's happened to this. Well, maybe it's the pigs. Um, uh, and basically, if the pigs behaved like humans, what pigs would do is that they'd say, one of these pigs, there's something wrong with it, and all the pigs would gang up on one of the other pigs, and the other pig would fall, oh, this is dreadful, and the lone pig would chuck itself off the cliff. And pigs actually were smarter than humans. They said, no, 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 no. Is if there's something wrong with pigs, it's wrong with all of us. And so all the pigs chucked themselves off the cliff. Um, and the man, because Jesus has seen through the "there's something wrong with you" narrative, is clothed and in his right mind. And I think that Jesus gives us peace because he refused to demonize somebody that's different. That Jesus will say that to all of us that there's something odd and wrong about each of us, but that doesn't mean to say that there's not something right with each of us, and that he loves us and will see the good in each of us. Another way in which Jesus gives us peace is that he is a peaceful presence in the storm. Everybody else is losing their walls, finding life difficult, going, rah! Anyway, you can see various people in the boat doing that. And Jesus is so at peace that he's asleep. Um, if you actually look for in this picture where the light is, You sort of think in religious art, oh, the light, you're drawn to the light. Must be where God is. Or you look to the piece high up on the boat, that Jesus must be on the high point of the boat. And I think this is a brilliant picture because is in the dark place and he's at the bottom. Um, and that is still a place of peace, which is, of course, where the cross comes in, because it is the cross that is the place of peace. And I think that one interpretation of the cross is that sometimes we feel that all this sort of peace of God is all very well, but in a really bad situation, the peace of God doesn't work, or the peace of God doesn't exist because it's that. And the thing about the death of Jesus is that it is so wrong on so many levels, that Jesus is completely innocent and they're doing something gratuitously dreadful to him. And the question is that peace is all very well in good times, but peace just really won't work. You can't be a peacemaker in the most dreadful times. And one of the messages of the cross is Jesus is saying, yes, you can. That in amongst all the chronic injustice of it, and being betrayed by a friend, he's in the prime of life, and it's in front of his mother. He is a person of peace. He's making peace with the soldiers. Father, forgive them. He's making peace with the criminals. Today you will be with me in paradise. He's making peace with his family, with his mother. Um, he's making peace with all those who have given up on God and saying, yeah, I've been there. It feels God forsaken. Yeah, I'm with you. All those who all they can think about is their physical needs because he's thirsting. But he does the fourth and fifth words from the cross, having done the first three. Normally, when it happens to you or I, is we're just so consumed on how God forsaken this is and how much our physical needs are that we feel that real peace is far from us. And no, no. In Jesus' case, this is can be a place of peace, and that the work of peace can be finished on the cross, and that he gets his sense of peace from his relationship with other members of the Godhead, and therefore he can commend his spirit to God. Um, so that's what I think about peace. I think peace is by very nature in the nature of God. It's how Jesus deals with man's inhumanity to man. It's a peace that he can have in the storms of life and that he can have on the cross and that he brings to us. I pray that you and I may find peace today and always. Amen. Amen.